Hi everyone and welcome to Be Colorful. I'm Gege and today we will create two cards together with the Tonic Craft Kit 42. The two cards I'm going to share with you have the same design, very essential and suitable for any occasion. Only the color combination will change. In this case, I'm going to use the dies included in the kit, but the project that I'm going to propose to you can be made with any die in the shape of a flower. So let's get started with card number 2 right away. For this card I will opt for one of my favorite color combinations, grey and mustard. It will be a very simple and elegant card, thanks also to a touch of gold. So first I'm preparing the card base in standard size, that's 4¼ by 5½ inches on white cardstock. Next, with a stitch rectangle die, I'm going to die cut the background panel, which is slightly smaller than the card base. Then, with a background stamp, in particular I'm going to use this one that shows some handwritten text, I'm going to create, in fact, a background using a grey ink. Here I'm deciding to make the panel smaller by die cutting it with a smaller rectangle die, always from the same set. And now let's create the flowers that will decorate the card. As I already said, I'm going to use the dies from the kit, but any flower die can be used. Then I'm going to die cut some flowers onto the mustard yellow paper included in the kit. Okay, next I'm going to stamp the center of the flowers using the matching stamps from the kit. I also show you a little trick for making multiple stamps for a mass producing. On a stamp platform I'm going to place what is the negative part of the die cut, where underneath I have attached masking tape with the adhesive facing up. Now I place the flowers on the negative side, then I'm going to position the coordinated stamps. And I'm ready for a mass producing. Since I'm going for an embossing technique, I'm using a clear embossing ink. After stamping, I can remove the flowers, leaving the mask and stamps in the same position. By doing so, I just need to reinsert other flowers and proceed with the stamping, speeding up the process and also allowing me to repeat the embossing twice if I'd like to get it more uniform and thicker. After creating a bunch of flowers of various sizes and before gluing them to the background panel, I add finishing edges to this panel using the gold satin paper included in the kit. And let's move on to the sentiment. I decided to die cut Happy Birthday with the dies from the Tonic Craft Kit number 24 on the gold satin paper. Of course, you can use the sentiment included in the kit or other dies that you may have in your stash, according to your needs. This card is also perfect for weddings or anniversaries. Here I'm changing my mind. I'm going to use just a happy die cut, while I'm going to stamp birthday with this set on a strip of white cardstock. Then embossing it with the gold embossing powder I used for the center of the flowers. To give a nice dimension to the sentiment, I die cut the word happy 2 more times on white cardstock. By gluing them one on top of the other, I will get, in fact, a thick sentiment. And now I'm ready to assemble the card. As finishing touches, I'm going to glue some golden sequins here and there, thus ending the second card. For the next card, I'm going to use the same design as the previous one, but changing the color combination. I'm going to use, in fact, coral pink, grey and silver. I'll go a little faster now as the process is pretty much identical to the previous card. So I'm going to die cut the flowers with the dies from the kit using the coral pink paper. I take advantage of the method I showed you earlier to stamp the center of the flowers. This time I'm going to do the hot embossing technique using a silver embossing powder. With the same stitch rectangle die I used before, I'm going to die cut the background panel, which I'm going to decorate with a different background stamp. That is a musical note background. Next, I'm gonna create the finishing edges for the panel using this silver satin mirror card. Then I'm going to create the sentiment, this time using one of the stamps from the kit, specifically the one that says The first blooms in spring always make my heart sing. I'm going to split the sentence in two parts and omit the word spring. To do that, with some masking tape, I'm going to cover up the part of the stamp that I don't want to stamp. I'm going to emboss the sentiment with the silver embossing powder. And the two parts of the sentence are ready. I am going to add the word spring, which I removed, by die cutting it on the fuchsia satin mirror card using the die included in the kit. I'm going to define the edges of the sentiment with grey ink, so they will stand out a little more from the background. Well, I'm ready to glue everything onto the card base. This time I'm going to use a ready-made one, just because I'm too lazy to create a new one. It's always a standard 4¼ by 5½ card. If you notice, I changed my mind by die cut the word spring on the coral pink classic card, just because I didn't really like the fuchsia mirror paper on this card. I'm going to finish this card by adding some sequins here and there, this time, of course, silver. That was all for today. I thank you for joining with me. If the video was useful to you, please let me know leaving a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel if you'd like. I give you an appointment at the next video where we will do some mixed media techniques using the Aqua Flow pen and the embellishment mousse included in the kit. Bye bye, thanks again, and be colorful!